has any of that, or if Top Esports going to have what it takes to bring it today.
Yeah, I mean, JDG have the probably scouting upper hand at this point, knowing that they've seen Top Esports play through that full 5-game series rather recently, while on the other hand, JDG maybe has their cards a little bit more hidden, at least for now, as we get started with picks and bans for game number 1. We see that JDG opting for first pick, Top Esports opting for blue side. Seems to be the standard at this point. We do see a lot of bans towards 369
we're setting up for like
top lane.
First pick Cassante here. Or I mean, they banned out the Mbessa. I really feel like they're signing up to blind a top laner over on the blue side.
That could be a top laner.
Varus blind early on. It could be a top laner. We sincerely hope it isn't. Varus has been very, very powerful. Whether it's been played top with a build that did get nerfed, but you saw at home with Dusk and Dawn, or bot, of course, in its poke status, where Varus has had a lot of success again. So that's locked in early on for JDG. Do like the response, though, of the Yunara and the Xin Zhao. A lot of threat for Lulu there on 3. One that JDG should be aware of. So definitely should pick to not make Lulu more optimal than what it already could be, pairing with Yunara and Xin Zhao as champs.
NaiYou 3-1 on Xin this season. Certainly a pick that has been very powerful, but something that he specifically has had a lot of good times on. So has the Rise for HongQ. Alongside this Pantheon, is that enough in terms of the two semi-globals for them to play fast here?
I mean, yeah, we talked about playing fast and playing the map, and I think that this is the mid-jungle duo to do just that. Seeing the Realm Warps, the Grand Starfalls as well. HongQ and JunJia already signing up to be everywhere on this map. Can do so with a lot of mid-priority later on from that Poke Varus, of course, who will dominate the mid-waves later in this game. Going to lead Top Esports really playing on the back foot here, at least in the early part of the games. I think early draft, I mean, I see priority bot, I see priority mid, and I see a jungler that can play very quickly in the Pantheon. I think that everyone just goes Sundered Sky Black Cleaver, but this champion, just the way it synergizes with Black Cleaver, once you get that second item completed, I think the strength of Pantheon really takes off as a champion. It feels weird because I think since like his mini rework, I mean, this was just viewed as a strictly early game champion. And of course, he is pretty strong as an early game champ, but the scaling he brings late is kind of slept on. The duration of that W, I feel like you get 2 or 3 off in a fight. Actually allows him to be pretty mobile and control frontline. And if you're in a fight where you can control the frontline as Pantheon, and that champ is allowed to interact, allowed to fight, he's really strong. So curious if JDG can continue to draft for that. I think banning away the Lulu if you don't want to take it. Polymorph is a really abusive ability. Talked about already how it pairs really well with Yunara and Xin Zhao. I like taking away the Nautilus too, because that's a champ that can enable JDG just to play faster.
You go through a bunch of supports at this point. Nautilus and Rakan not going to be available for a Vampire. See what exactly they want to pair alongside that Varus, or maybe that Varus is getting sent up to the top lane, but most likely looking at top laners and supports to be selected here in this second phase. Looks like pairing something alongside this Varus, there's a lot of different options that you could go for, and also it depends on whether you want to go for the poke build or the on-hit. I would imagine on-hit maybe makes a little bit more sense given now that there is a Xin on the enemy team, but still a lot of time left to figure things out.
Yeah, I think that the Bard ban definitely opened up Alistar in the pool, and this is a little bit of a takeaway from JDG, because I think JDG were setting up for Alistar potentially with those bans. Opportunity to answer Rel now. I still think it might be Poke Varus, just because DPS fighting Yunara Azir is pretty impossible. But we could get even weirder and maybe be blinding a top lane Varus or playing support Ashe. As I know support Ashe has actually picked up a little bit of validity. No, it's top lane Varus. Okay, it's top Varus and it's Ashe Seraphine bot. Okay, that's fine. You can play support Ashe. You can go CDR and fire the ults. It's not what we're getting this game. It is top Varus for Xiaoxu. And now, 369, choice of counter. If you want to go for the Jax, you really have to play for the top lane Varus. My concern now, though, for Top Esports is that the Panth and the Rise can really support a top lane Varus. Ashe Seraphine also is a winning lane very hard into Yunara and Alistar. So the way that you break Varus is by attacking it early so that it can always get attacked later on in the game, right? Because you are a ranged top laner. You have less stats as a ranged, carry, and you don't have a mobility tool top. So if you get behind, it's bad. But everyone on JDG can support this. Whether it's Ashe Seraphine, they're going to have perma push in that bot lane. Pantheon Rise should be able to move and really support this top lane Varus pick. So this is signing up already to be pretty oppressive for Top Esports. I think they're really going to be on the back foot in this game. Because for me, they drafted 3 losing lanes and a jungler that might be able to help a breakout, but Pantheon can really respond to a lot of plays and is really oppressive to face as he can answer plays anywhere when his ult's up. But that gets even harder when everyone else already has priority in the lanes, which that's what JDG is drafted for. So we'll see if Top Esports can break that.
Yeah, JDG playing fast, playing hard, just like you said. A lot of what they are able to do will revolve around JunJia and HongQ on this Pantheon rise, impacting these oppressive side lanes that can be punished if put in the bad situation. Whereas on the other side, Top Esports absolutely holding out for the team fights, holding out for late game, trying to get themselves an opportunity for somebody like JiaQi on this Yunara, even Creme on the Azir to get to a very strong point. The question is, will that happen, or will JDG just be able to send that train all the way forward?
Hey, you know what? It's already 369 reaching his bag a little bit too. We talked about signature champs. He always keeps on them. I mentioned the Kennen. I mentioned the Mordekaiser. How dare I not mention the Gragas, which might be his best champion career-wise. It's definitely up there. So will be fun. I mean, the flip side of this is if JDG gets behind, they have no front line. And having no front line into Azir, Xin, Alistar, and Gragas too. Gragas brings even more ways to force and try and make plays. So if Top Esports are able to break JDG early, could be good. I just think it's going to be really tough to break 3 winning lines.
Here we go. First series of the playoffs here in Split 1 of the LPL. Starting things off, it's a very fascinating composition here for Top Esports. A lot of that coming with this Ashe Seraphine bot lane that is already going to be oppressive down here. Level 1 Alistar against double range, you're never having a good time.
Really liked how JDG set this line up too. They had both Vampire and Gala starting that rush, and they killed the first ward dropped in by Fengyue. So just, I mean, signs up for even more of a beatdown, which you are seeing on your screens down here. Now, we have Pantheon working his way towards the top side. I think that makes a lot of sense in a game with Varus, as you want to really support that pick. And NaiYou is also doing the same, making his way top, but he did go for the AoE camp clear. So he went Raptors, Krugs. Well, means that does mean that he won't full clear in time to get up to that first crab. So curious to see if he just plays for the bottom one and tries to rotate his camps out as fast as possible. But that tells me that Top Esports is going to sign up for a lot of pain early against JDG and kind of let these winning lanes take course.
Yeah, I mean, that's
probably
the best way to do it, unless you get something really spicy early on here.
Not
NaiYou
good.
going for an invade onto the red buff of JunJia. Now remember, both soul laners for JDG have prio, so NaiYou's going to have to make this quick. Forces a flash out of JunJia, but he's going to follow up with a 3-talent strike. Conquer already procced. One more auto should be enough, and NaiYou's just going to pick up first blood. A very successful engage, and it needed to happen just like that.
I mean, I'm looking at the lanes, and it's Xiaoxu and HongQ with push, and then NaiYou just, he got in the face of JunJia, took him down. There was no help for JunJia in that fight. Xin Zhao able to get in there level 3, wins the fight, takes the red. That's a huge win early, going to release a lot of pressure across the lanes for Top Esports, knowing that JDG's jungler is that far behind now in this game. That was a surprising invade. Caught me off guard. Definitely caught JunJia off guard. And a great risk from NaiYou, who walks out with the kill, the red buff, and first blood.
Talked about JDG playing with some sense of pace that is certainly going to be slowed down after that first kill was given over to NaiYou. No ability to dive top lane, no ability to gank mid lane unless just full send it here off of the TP. HongQ is going to try to make sure this Rune Prison immediately lands, and Creme's going to have to burn a flash.
Well, aggressive TP that gets punished by Creme is going to be a slight early lead now for HongQ. JunJia, this is big if he gets the respawn Raptors.
He's only level 3. NaiYou has
no buffs,
level advantage, and both have smite. This should not be an easy situation for JunJia to handle. And it looks like it should just be controlled once again by the jungler of Top Esports. So
that's
overall,
big, though.
TS doing a really good job, specifically in the way that these rotations have worked out early.
NaiYou got the dream clear start, because he has cleared out one crab, got a kill, stole a red buff, and got both of his respawn camps in time. On time. He's going to base, have money for a Thunder, and have the stats that you need. You want a Xin Zhao to continue to try and oppress Pantheon. Pantheon, in this matchup, that attack speed steroid from Xin Zhao, it's too massive for Panth to deal with early. And when you get ahead like this, you get stat checked as the Pantheon. So it's going to be a while now until Panth gets back into this game. And if Xin Zhao gets ahead, his ability to kind of power clear and really ramp this game up early. Again, he was the one early winning champ that top drafted for themselves. It's going to be on NaiYou that now has this jungle tempo lead to kind of snowball this into his lanes and try and slow down what should be winning lanes here for JDG early.
See some push here for HongQ. He's taking a decent amount of HP, but will be able to just back after that. Meanwhile, the bot lane still going well here for JDG. So the lanes are doing their jobs. It's just what exactly is JunJia going to be able to handle here? As we see NaiYou going for a lane invade here onto Xiaoxu, and she should be able to do it. A really nice explosive cast, and that's just going to be a kill onto the top lane Varus. Exactly what needs to happen here in this matchup.
I mean, the chains of corruption and the flash never came out as defense. Xiaoxu just got one shot. I feel like after the cast came out, there might have been a moment where Xiaoxu could have flashed away from NaiYou on Xin Zhao, which I think is, if you flash, the wind becomes lightning. Xin Zhao is going to have trouble closing the gap against you. I'm really surprised that none of those abilities came out from the Varus. I feel like now jungle got broken by a nice play from NaiYou. That's also a really good timer by NaiYou to visit top. No recompense by JDG, and the comp where JDG drafted so many winning elements early, already been set behind twice.
Not our expectations for how this early game was going to go, and even in terms of our expectations for this series, only one game really separated these two teams in terms of the regular season, but seeing Top Esports struggle so mightily against Team WE might have had people favoring JDG in this series, but TES is showing they are here to play, at least at this point, keeping things very competitive here in game number 1.
I'm impressed with what NaiYou's done so far with his first two moves. I just feel like he really read and cut through the win con of JDG, which, I mean, like, even interacting with Varus there at 6, it might seem scary, but that's the first time that your Gragas is really going to have the opportunity, I think, to make an impact on this lane. Speaking of which.
Nice flash. Okay. 369. Don't know if he needed it to survive with the extra healing from the Biscuits coming through, but all of that here for a full combo from Xiaoxu going to be worth it here, as JDG going to try to take this dragon down. If JunJia can smite this, that'll give him level 6, and he'll have an opportunity to match the ulti of NaiYou, who does not want to engage. So JDG able to get their first objective of the game.
Dragon's a little bit late for what JDG wants, but still, it's before Grub spawns, so the opportunity to try and get both neutral objectives, which in this draft, I think JDG definitely have the potential to do and want to do. I think the consequences of what NaiYou's done so far, I will say that the worst thing that could have happened for Xiaoxu on the top side is if he flashes and dies. Like, it's not like he flashed and died. Dying's bad. If both happen, that's disaster for your Varus in this matchup. Speaking of
disaster.
Yeah.
Bit of a misplay here by Fengyue. He's just going to get fully bursted down, as it will be a 2v2 kill. Maybe another here on to JiaQi as well, but he's firing back here until JunJia jumps in with the Grand Starfall to make it 2-0 down bottom.
Yeah, honestly, don't even think he was needed there. And that's going to hurt a little bit, because NaiYou can actually get up here and take the grubs.
Unless he goes for a play here. On to HongQ. Both Flash and Ghost were burned, and that will be enough to get him away from the Xin.
Okay, look, I don't think that ult was necessary from JunJia. Not known within the time, as barrier was still up for Gala. So I think that given the barrier versus cleanse diff, and he would have won out on the 1v2 without help, I harp on this because it means that grubs go this way. And top getting grubs, some aspect of grubs, very important, because the ability for Varus and Ryze to pressure these side lane turrets, if all the grubs were given over to JDG, it's pretty big. So I sincerely think that if JDG, like, if JunJia does not ult bot, if they take the 2v2 kill, they move the Seraphine up, and Seraphine's there at grubs or the next rotation, that could have been a across-the-board wipe here for JDG instead. Yeah, I mean, look at the timer of this. I just think that, I mean, first off, Fengyue, I mean, mate, you're not even 6 yet. I don't know how close you are to 6, so that's kind of a one-way trip whether that hits or not. But Yeah, I mean, from this look, grubs are probably spawning 10-15 seconds. We don't have the timers. I think this was a little bit too much invested for sure. We could see it on our screens there. I don't know who's communicating that on the JDG side. I feel like that wasn't as much of a bang play. And again, just the value taking those grubs away, I think is very significant.
Catch by Vampire. JiaQi immediately cleanses the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. But overall, HP advantage once again for JDG. This is the area of the map that they've been able to take advantage of in terms of the winning lanes. See if they continue to try to capitalize on it. NaiYou on the Krugs right now will be around in case a dive goes through. The Grand Starfall off of cooldown. That means that JunJia will not be able to use it down here. That means that not a play will be made.
JunJia is here to cover. They might play with some recalls. They could really screw with the tempo of JiaQi and Fengyue here. Yeah. I think, I mean, if you can prevent them from recalling, you can jail them. That's another plate that goes over to JDG. The free wave, more pressure. And I mean, this is where Ashe Seraphine is just such an impressive lane, especially against something like an Alistar, because this lane gets a lot stronger with more levels. Like, the more points you get to throw in your abilities, as especially the Seraphine, you feel really good about. And when you're going into the Alistar lane, well, as Alistar, you sign up to lose very hard level 1, and you're losing pretty hard for the rest of the lane, as you can see. So, see if Fengyue can make up for that value outside of the lane phase and the team fights, where Alistar can be really powerful, but at the moment, you can see Gala and Vampire having a good start to this best of 5.
Been one of the better bot lanes here this season. Specifically, Gala really shining here in his new position, in his new role. One of the highest priority free agents going into this offseason. Ends up choosing JDG. And, you know, maybe there were some questions about his consistency in 2025, but he's been a huge carry for this team, especially, you know, throughout the back half of this regular season.
It's kind of fun with the new LPL system, how you can see how players are prioritized. I think that's always a fun talking point, as someone that was always pro sharing salary numbers. Fun discussion. But, yeah, I do think that Gala, Vampire, again, were better in the first half of the season than the second for JDG, along with the rest of the team. I mean, JDG were a stronger team in the first half of the regular season. As I am seeing a level diff for the Gragas in the Varus matchup. That is a very big deal. Again, if Varus gets ahead in this matchup, you just start to win for free, because no one can check you. But if you have a level diff as Gragas, you're going double scaling, and then you always have casks and E-flashes, like ways you can guarantee pull the trigger into Varus. It's kind of a weird answer pick, but I can definitely understand it from 369, his perspective.
Yeah.
Just given that Gragas has been such a strong champion for him in his past career.
I think in general, you see Gragas into some of these more oppressive lane matchups, even the ranged top laners in general, because you can do things, you know, if that was successful, throwing the cask right back in, landing that full burst combo, and then also your passive just allows you to heal through so much of the poke that a ranged top laner like the Varus does offer. So you can see him already pretty neutral in this lane. Where Xiaoxu has actually had to go defensive and pick up a...
Does Gala check this? If they don't get this timer, they're going to be really down. JDG knows that they could be on it, though.
They're on it now. JunJia has an opportunity to get in there and smite it away, but it will be secured by TES. Charm goes out, only hitting on the Fengyue. NaiYou pops the Crescent Guard and lands it when it becomes lightning onto Gala. He flashes over the arrow and gets the knock-up to connect. First kill of the fight in favor of Top Esports, and now they're dropping like flies. JiaQi is unleashed, but not able to get anything more. And overall, it'll be a 2-for-2 with the Dragon going to top.
I mean, NaiYou just made one of the hardest flashes that you can make in League look easy, as he flashed over the Enchanted Crystal Arrow from Gala, and that is what enabled the 2-for-2. And again, what a read from NaiYou and Top Esports to take the Dragon there. Is what a read am I seeing on my screen, as that's one way to lose your flash. But that's a great timer. This is off the bot lane reset. Again, you're playing into Ashe Seraphine. You need to find a way to break the scaling. And when people talk about breaking scaling at home, the good teams and players will talk about it in finding those windows to be aggressive, where it's a lot harder to, because you're losing earlier in the game given the chance you have. That was a great window for Top Esports to be aggressive just by taking the Dragon, and for NaiYou and the team to recognize that, but then for him to flash the mechanics afterwards with the flash over the ECA. Nice 2-for-2 Dragon pickup, and that's really big for Top Esports. Just finding ways to really stall the comp of JDG. JDG wants to Dragon stack this game. And taking that Dragon away in the manner in which they did it in, very good.
It's been a great game from NaiYou so far on this Xin Zhao. Remember, he was on LGD last year, kind of on a lower tier roster, but these are his roots. He started up here in the TES Challenger system before getting loaned out to various other teams. And now returning to the main roster. A lot of doubts about him early on, but he has delivered so far against one of the most hyped up mid-jungle duos that we've had in the LPL in a number of years. And we see him continue to try to push the pace here, allowing for JiaQi and 369 to claim their first tower of the game.
Like the power play and committing. Again, this is a great timer by NaiYou. He's going to take the dragon right as it hits 1K and then watch the flash right over the enchanted crystal arrow. This is really hard to do, guys. This is one of the hardest flashes to make in the league. The model is so big that you can oftentimes flash and still get caught by it on the backside. See Creme go down out of the replay. Looks like a nice encore there from Vampire.
Yeah, no flashes burned, anything like that. It's just clean 2v1 in the mid lane that went JDG's way. So much as we were praising top for being able to win that fight out, or at least make it an even situation, they are still behind when it comes to how the mid game and how this pace is going, as it allows for JunJia to now start up the Rift Herald. However, Vampire has been caught out, forced to flash away with the exhaust on top of him, and now both AD carries will be duking it out. Gala flashed away from the W of NaiYou, and now the focus will go to the Herald. They land the stun in the Chain of Corruption, then the smite goes over to JunJia, but now teleports have come in. Creme is in the middle of the pit, and he's doing a ton of damage, able to take down one, but it's a double kill that goes over to Xiaoxu. In the meantime, he gets a triple before dropping, but Creme lands a big shuffle and is able to get two back on his own. Gala looking to chase him down, should be able to finish it off, and JDG go 4 for 2 around the Rift Herald.
And they go 4 for 2 thanks to their 80 carry top player flashing into the middle of the fight and taking 3 kills. And this is why the AP Varus, it's so frustrating for people to play against at home, and it's so oppressive in the top lane, because once you get the Dusk and Dawn item, your ability to rotate out your Blight stacks, your W on Varus, and take advantage of the big damage you get is good. Now, for this look, top, I get this from their perspective. Vampire is down Encore. They find the Seraphine for free. JiaQi has a decent trade here. Gala plays this fight really well. That flash out was really good. He plays the back half well, too. NaiYou getting in here is a good attempt. JunJia wins out because your smite plus crit on Pantheon. You can't beat that as NaiYou. That's understandable. Creme TPing in where he does, I feel like, is a little bit aggressive. But Xiaoxu, that's the story, flashing in the middle of everything. The charge W gets a huge chunk onto the Yunara. Yunara flops, and Creme just can't carry the fight. I think his TP in early was a little bit too aggressive. The drop ward behind, maybe in that banana brush, could have helped him have a better spot at the beginning of the fight because he was CC'd coming out of it. But Xiaoxu reading that to flash in the middle of everyone and still win the fight was, that's pretty nice.
Yeah, I mean, you say frustrating. Imagine being 369 in the situation. You're able to survive the laning phase. You got a kill onto this ranged top laner Varus, and he just jumps in, grabs a triple kill. Basically playing in melee range a lot of the time. It looks like they're going to try and punish him because of that initial fight, and it should be successful as Fengyue lands that knockup, and 369 will get his ultimate revenge with the body slam, getting one back.
Small thing there, like from NaiYou, the E forward to catch the R. You can still move throughout that with Xin Zhao. So I like how he kind of played that to catch it. Was able to get the 3 talent strike off as the arrow goes wide. Does prevent more siege from coming down on the top lane, though, as NaiYou and Top Esports were setting their sights there.
Dragon spawning on the bottom side. 369 and NaiYou are not in the area, though. This could be an opportunity for JDG to take positioning around the pit. They already have the Scuttler down there. JunJia pops the Comet Spear and forces the Dragon to pull away from the side of Top Esports. Should be a easy control. However, NaiYou is running down, and we'll see if they do want to go for the fight. Look at Fengyue. He's on the flank, and they have not found the cow just yet. A teleport has already come in, with Xiaoxu looking here for this fight onto NaiYou. They land a huge root, and he has to flash away already. JiaQi is transcended. Fengyue lands a 3-man knockup, but will it be enough? The Unbreakable Will is on top of him, but NaiYou's already gone down. HongQ gets the kill, and JunJia's in the middle of anybody, and the Aegis is keeping him alive. It'll be a 1-for-0 so far, but both sides want to back away for now. Xiaoxu goes too far forward, but he's able to snipe him down with the arrow. Gala gets shuffled in, but he takes one down back with him. Creme's able to get a kill, but it will still be 2 players alive on either side.
HongQ had to reset. He didn't have the TP back in. Good re-engage from top and Creme, but Creme might not be out of the fray. Does have flash.
Well, Morph in, Creme able to buffer the initial jump forward from JunJia and should gather enough distance to escape. But it will mean that JDG ultimately control that bottom side river.
I think the cask, actually, the Q there saved Creme at the end. That slow. I think that did get him out. As what a chaotic fight there, Grapes. I mean, a lot burned. I thought a lot of people played this well, too. As we take another look, I thought the difference maker here is just the TP from Xiaoxu. It's such a winning position for JDG off the top half of the fight, because 369 is trying to walk through a control board, and while Fengyue was setting up for a flank and Creme was going behind, Fengyue has a really nice engagement in this fight on the side anyway. And I do appreciate how Top Esports kind of, you know, we reset the fight and we went back in on a good timer to play around the end of JiaQi. I think JDG got caught off guard by this re-engage a bit. They were trying to get HongQ to reset and do this, take the Drake cleanly. Because if HongQ reset for free and got back on the map, Drake would have been theirs, which it is in the end. But yeah, I feel like the re-engage caught JDG off guard. Was a good pull from Top Esports.
Finding their moments here. First it was Fengyue with the flash pulve, then Creme goes in, so able to stagger those sets of engages, ending up working out in their favor. They're still down 1,500 gold, but remember, they're the scaling composition. They want to eventually get to the late game, and they're doing a good job of that. So
they are. It's hard to outscale a Seraphine. But if it is a raw DPS fight, and I have a Zero Yunara on my team, I do like my chances if it does go later into the game. That said, I think that one of the things I'm starting to recognize in this game that I quite like for JDG, how easy is it for them to play some of these fights, especially for the, you know, top lane AP Varus, when you're able to play around point and clicks like Pantheon, like Rise, and even like like you turn Seraphine and Ashe ultimates into point and clicks. If you're using empowered rune prisons or using, you know, these W's from Pantheon where it's a point and click stun, and then you can, you know, chain the skill shots on top of it. I think that Top trying to look for the flank or that approach there, that's what caught them off guard with JDG, how they enter the fight, having Xiaoxu being connected. And JDG are going to really want to stay connected as a 5-stack and have to look out for the displacement tools. Because if Gragas throws out a good cast, if Alistar gets a good headbutt, if Azir gets a good sweep, that's the game over.
Oh, NaiYou has been caught, but look at the explosive cast. It immediately takes down JunJia, and the Crescent Guard from NaiYou is able to keep him alive. Jungler down for JD Gaming, and this is Top Esports' time to strike. JiaQi's transcended, forces the flash away from Vampire, and JDG are now on the run with the Barons now spawned at the 22-minute mark.
That is what you were looking for with the cask, with the Gragas that was picked up late. Split up the Seraphine comp, deliver your food straight to you as the Fat Man delivered the Pantheon, and now Siege on the Baron trying to force more of a fight.
JDG are split. Creme with the flash shuffle sends HongQ to his demise. JiaQi gets the kill. NaiYou is ticking low, and there's still 3 members alive, and they all do a decent chunk of damage. I think that's enough, Cubby, for the Baron to be reset.
Yeah, honestly, good pickup. HongQ was flashless. Creme had his own, so you can guarantee that trade. But they lost too much health, JDG was able to stall too much around the Baron. It is a positive sequence for Top Esports, but they don't get the backbreaker at the end as no neutrals are picked up. There's going to be gold in their pockets.
Gold lead now swinging back in favor of TES after that successful play. And that is exactly what they needed to do here. NaiYou getting caught out. Looked like it was going to be maybe JDG that had the opportunity for the Baron.
Oh, Crescent Guard and a beautiful cast from 369. I don't think he meant to bring JunJia in as his W came out after the cask, but it was a bang-bang play, and Pantheon was delivered on their doorstep nonetheless. It's a good pickup for 369.
So unfortunate for JDG in favor, you know, for them to lose their jungler, lose their mid laner. But the silver lining for them is the Baron did not go down. Top Esports did not claim that buff. That could have been the full game breaking open in terms of this maybe scaling composition. So luckily for them, they'll be able to reset. They have 1 minute and 40 seconds until this next dragon spawns, and they can try to put some good wards around that side of the map, try to claim soul point.
Do have a couple unique adaptations coming out. I like the Merc Treads into the Hex Drinker for NaiYou. I think it means that he won't be able to build Sterax later. And the standard build, like you see a lot, is if you need Tenacity, you go Sterax. You see GA around this time. But he's going to get his Tenacity through Merc Treads and also pick up the Hex Drinker, which I think is going to give him a lot of value this game. going up against the AP Varus Rise and Seraphine Grapes.
Yeah.
So definitely premium on some MR on that side. But yeah, I also just kind of want to track throughout this game. I know we're talking about scaling and how top esports, you know, they want to scale into this game a little bit with the Azir and the Unara. I don't know if they outscale JDG. I think they just have to outburst them or out-interact them. Kind of in the windows.
Ooh.
Good sidesteps there. Yeah. Top esports made sure of that one. They actually moved the goalposts, you know, Redditor's favorite pastime.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like a lot of people I interact with on Twitter. That's what they do.
Yeah. Favorite pastimes. But yeah, I just given how hard this Varus scales, like the damage that I think the carries of JDG are still capable of, it really is going to come down to these bang windows for top esports. Like, is the entrance into the fight big enough for Alistar, big enough for Azir, big enough for the Gragas like we just saw, where top can get such a big head start to this fight? You kind of break what the sustained damage of a Seraphine team or of the Varus poke coming into these rotations around his R's, where you're going to start seeing Xiaoxu fish with these R's, and if he hits one, that's going to be half health off a carry, just given how this AP Varus build works and Blight.
So it's not scaling necessarily, it's team fight strength. You might see some team fight strength here as 369 body slams forward. A little bit of a knock-up onto JunJia, and that allows for TES to gain control of the river. Teleport comes in from Xiaoxu, so it will be a full 5v5. But JDG are late to this play, and if Top Esports burst this down quick enough, they should just be able to claim the dragon.
Whoa.
Unless the Realm Warp comes in. Actually getting sent the wrong way. JDG maybe were trying to send JunJia in there as well to take the Baron?
Yeah, they banana comboed the Realm Warp, which is that's kind of advanced from banana comboing a flash. You really got to commit to that one.
Fengyue pops the ghost. Ooh, nice flash react from HongQ. Make sure he does not get knocked up. Chain of Corruption comes out, and the Enchanted Crystalero finds Creme. Encore only onto one, but NaiYou does not have the Crescent Guard and will go down to the likes of his opposing jungler. 1-0 in favor of JDG. Should be 2 with Fengyue on the way out of here. JunJia picks up the crit, and it's 2 kills for nothing, and Baron on the menu.
That was a great predictive flash from Xiaoxu, and I think that was Top Esports signing up for a fight that they don't want. Talks about Seraphine comps. What do you want? You want to spread out? You want a sustained fight? You take a fight in the middle of mid lane. That's not the spot you want your displacement skills to hit or the AoE abilities you have as top. You're going to try and save this play.
HongQ fighting a 2v1, has the phase rush to get away. Baron secured by JDG, and now Creme forced to dash forward, shuffles onto 2, but will not find anybody. HongQ dies on the other side, but Gala is still alive, and there's a ton of damage in favor of JDG. JiaQi flashes in, but it is not enough. Baron in the hands of JD Gaming.
I mean, I don't really know what Top Esports are trying to do there. They must have thought that Baron could be the game, just given how they risked 3v5 and the resources that they put into that one. JiaQi was not able to find an answer kill. And it is just Top Esports. I mean, I just don't like the fight conceptually they took in mid lane by using flashes and pulling the trigger in the middle of mid lane. It's not a fight you need to take. Like, this is a completely neutral state, so Top's opting into this. And again, if you have Shurima Shuffle, you have Cast, you don't want to throw these tools out in the middle of mid lane where JDG are allowed to have the most room to spread out, absorb, and then deflect this engage back on the Top Esports. HongQ gets a really nice combo to force both carries out of the fight at the same time, by the way. As Top Esports just really split up, I think given, first off, the angle they took to just take the fight in the first place and engage, and then just HongQ forcing the carries out there. Quite nice. As JDG get the best of everything in that last sequence.
Arrow. Nice dodge from JiaQi here, but still going to be in the siege. Is continuing here for JD Gaming. They have the empowered minions for another 90 seconds or so. Top Esports doing their best to clear these waves out. Overall, in terms of these fights, you see Top Esports knowing they have these tools, but JDG have done a really good job responding to them. Look at that flash from Xiaoxu. And just Fengyue going in for these combos. When they hit, Top Esports wins, but when they don't, they lose, and JDG has made sure that they don't hit.
Attacking the Varus. This is the best way back into the game, probably, for Top.
Oh, it's a double TP
they're
in
sending
from
help.
Fengyue and 369. Xiaoxu able to go golden for a little bit and allow for the rest of his team to ride, but he has already gone down to the likes of Creme. Here comes the Shurima shuffle. It finds both of the bottom laners, and Top Esports might have found their opportunity. Clask sends HongQ away. It's a double Q already here for the Azir, and they're going to find HongQ as well. How did TES get this opportunity? It's a clean ace, and that might just be the game.
How much can they get off this? I'm so surprised that JDG went to help the Varus. That was so much used. They have 3 grubs on this push, Grapes. This actually could be it for top. I need
They don't have
timers.
the Baron, but they have those 3 grubs. It's 18 seconds on both Xiaoxu.
I don't think they can end. It's a maybe if they go for it. It's going to be contested.
Inhibitor goes down. This is going to be at 5 seconds here on to Vampire as well.
Win.
I think the push is just going to be too much. It looked like Top Esports were at their brink, but they pull all the way back, win one decisive fight, and will take game 1 of this best of 5 series.
I mean, what a throw from JDG. What a bummer for them. You go to save the Varus. You throw everything into that fight for saving the Varus. You aren't able to do so. I think a couple of the key mechanics, that Baron 3v5 that they actually went for against JDG, they got Gala's flash in that sequence too. Creme burned his own flash to guarantee the engage in the backline as Azir onto that Ashe. Again, when you're at a flash differential there, that engage is guaranteed. And Top were able to guarantee a really positive fight for themselves in that bot side by JDG, not being disciplined, playing around those timers, and trying to save a fight that Top had tempo on when it came to attacking that Varus. So that's a bummer. I really feel like JDG, I like the draft, I like the strategy they had, but that's the risk of running, I think, a top laner that is ranged and a support that is an Enchantress, and these cohesive tools we talked about for Top Esports. If you play into them on one bad timer, you get wiped, and that's the game. It's what happens when you go over 3 grubs, and you got carries like Yunara and Azir that enable Top Esports to turn a 5-0 into 4 turrets, an inhibitor, and an Nexus that quickly.
We said for these team fights to go well for Top, everything had to go well, and that is exactly what happened here. It was a great double TP from the Alistar and the Gragas. They found Xiaoxu immediately, and even though he bought some time with his Hourglass, it just funneled the rest of JDG into the waiting arms of Creme, who landed a massive Emperor's Divide. Was able to really turn the tides of that team fight. If JDG were even able to get 1, maybe 2 players on the back end of things, we could still be playing this game. But Top Esports perfectly executed that last team fight. They go 5-0, and they end the game in just the nick of time.
You're playing into a lot of squishies. Again, like the DPS from Azir Yunara, it's a lot. The cohesive AoE tools that Alistar or Gragas bring to the table to open that up, that's a lot. And man, I do like the draft from JDG. I really think they drafted 3 winning lanes. They drafted the ability to impact the map with the Pantheon and the Rise. I think that Ashe covers for a lot of the weaknesses in this draft, like the zone control with the slows, the ability to fish for engages with your ult, even the hawk shots where you don't have a tank support or a tank top laner to walk in. Ashe checking Ws with brushes or throwing hawk shots just to check stuff in advance. Like, I think this comp in this draft was really good and really well thought out by JDG. Losing this game is depressing. Like, this is not a game for me that JDG should have lost. They were winning for 80+% of this game. It was one bad play that they opted into. They opted into the Top Esports play on the bot side when they had Baron up and they were dictated the game on their turns. 5-0 and lose on that. That hurts.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where the scoreboard does not tell the full story. In a lot of senses, this should have been JD Gaming winning this game, but just one small moment at the end allowed for Top Esports to take a 1-0 series lead. I mean, we're taking a look at some of these highlights right now. The way that JunJia and HongQ were able to navigate these fights as the Pantheon and Rise, that's not going to be as easy now once we get into later stages of Fearless. I mean, these were 2 champions that perfectly fit their identity, and now they're off the table, and they didn't even get a win off of it.
Yeah, I think Rise 2, probably HongQ's best champion, just pound for pound. The Azir Orianna swap wasn't taken this game, so that's going to be actually a lot of power to whoever gets Orianna later on in the series. As Creme did opt into, or the Rise was opted into. I think the Azir was a response. I do want to point out, not this replay, I don't know if there's anything we missed, the Baron 3v5 when they show it, because that's going to lead into the timer where top gets the rinse and repeat fight on bot lane. As, yeah, again, JDG kind of caught off guard here by top re-engaging. I like this re-engage from top. I did. Here, watch Gala. Gala's going to flash at the end of this fight, guys, when Creme goes in. That's a really nice cast there from 369, actually. Yeah, that... Yep. Gala flashed that. His flash is now missing for this next play. So watch the final play at home, guys. Creme has flash and the Emperor's divide up. So again, talked about this on Azir. When you have a flash differential, you can guarantee an engage on an opponent. What happens with how this fight plays out? Watch how Creme plays this. He's going to find Gala in the back half with a guaranteed flash of his own. This is really, really well played by Creme. I know he put a lot of focus on Creme as a member that needed to step up with top esports, given what he went from being a member that wasn't as experienced to far more experienced on the team, given that pretty much 3 rookies came on in. That is a really good play and a really good sign from Creme, being locked in to start off these playoffs. That was very, very well done.
Yeah, the catch on to Xiaoxu is one thing, but if Creme doesn't go for that play, fight could have looked very different if you allow for both the Ashe and the Ryze to just pump out consistent damage in that team fight. But didn't end up happening because that shuffle did come in to save the day. So tough luck here.
It didn't happen because they didn't sack the Varus, guys. Sometimes it's okay to lose the pinky. It's better to lose the pinky than the hand, if we're going to look at it that way. JDG, they had too much friendship going on. They had to save the Varus.
End up losing the hand and maybe a little bit more as well, not the whole body though, as again, this is a best of 5 series. I mean, when you take a look at what they could do differently going into game 2, not a ton really comes to mind because it feels like they played pretty much exactly how they wanted to, beside from that last moment.
I think that they won that game for 80% of it, Grapes. Yeah. I think they just didn't find the last 20%. And you know what? Sir Joffrey might have lost a hand, but he came back to be a hell of a character. So we'll see if JDG can do so the same. This best of 5, as it's not off to a great start for them.
Creme winning his 4th MVP of the game, or of the season, I should say, for his Azir performance. Really well done. I mean, again, if he did not perform the way he did in that last fight, game could still be going as we speak. So Creme, with that player of the game, the mid laner, the veteran mid laner for TES, taking the honors there. JD Gaming have to rebound, and they have to do so fast if they want to be able to keep control of this opening round of the LPL postseason. We're going to go to a short break. Before we do that, though, we got to give a quick shout out to everybody watching at home, and especially to our supporters on Coffee, because if you would like to support LPL English, you can consider becoming a Coffee member. It is the best way to support the LPL English project, since the vast majority of your contributions will go directly to the show. A lot of the payments go into upgrading the broadcast, but a huge bulk of it also pays us on-air talent and content creators. So you can subscribe to our Coffee. It is linked in the chat right now to unlock perks like early access to content and the ability to ask interview questions in our unique on-site interviews once those come around. So make sure to check the link down in the Coffee. JD Gaming down 1-0 as TES take that first one. We'll see who is able to take game number 2 after this short break.